All right, we're bar side. What kind of bar side? Table side by the bar. We're with Haywood, me, and we're with Roger from Shakespeare's. 17 years behind the bar. 17 wonderful years behind the bar. Roger, why don't you talk about a little bit about what this bar means to you?
First, I was coming in here for 3 years before I started working here.
Oh, so patron first.
Oh yeah, I got to know the staff and Susie, and I actually happened to be in having lunch one day, and someone called in sick that night. She was not able to find anyone to cover, and I just kind of joked with her and said, "Oh, I could do it for you." So I thought, "Oh, I forgot I don't work for you." She goes,
"You do now?
Can you do it?" So I came back in the afternoon, and we went over to register, and I worked that night, and it was a weeknight. And after that day, it was like, she's like, "Can I put down your schedule as a fill-in?" And immediately, some of the girls that worked during the days on the weekends didn't want to cover those shifts anymore, so I immediately started working all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So the first year I worked for, I just worked all day Saturday, Sunday, and then I cooked for one shift during the week, like on a Wednesday night.
A man of many talents.
So, and I actually used to
Jack of all trades.
I used to have to cook for myself on Sundays until 4 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So I was the only person at the bar, and I had to wait on tables, run the bar, and cook my own food. So
Go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, this place, it had humble beginnings. I think that's what makes a lot of the mainstays. I was talking to Ben. I came here at 9:45 this morning, and people. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't
the
think
bar
there'd
was
be anybody
full.
here, but it was
Tables were
busy as
full.
hell.
I think people appreciate kind of where it started, and a lot of these men and women have been a part of kind of the run with you.
Yeah.
That's special, I think. And
definitely, yeah. Everyone around, as I look around the bar now, everyone's been, some of these guys at the bar have been coming in the whole time I've worked here. So, there's twin brothers over here, they just come in and have pop in the morning, but they've been coming in the whole time I've worked here since before I worked here.
so 17 years, is that right?
Yeah,
You mentioned?
yeah, and they live outside of town, out south of town, but they still they pop in 3-4 days a week and
That's
pop
awesome.
in and just have
That's so cool, because that's like the relationships that are built between bartender and patron, and you've experienced both sides.
Yeah.
And so, can you talk a little bit about, you just mentioned the twin brothers that have pop, the mainstays that are here, the newbies. Like, I got introduced later on, but I feel a special connection to this place. What does that mean to you? And like, between you and the patron now for the last 17 years, what makes you want to give them the best experience that you possibly can?
Well,
every day?
it's such a family-oriented group. Even Susie is the boss, owners, makes it feel like a family. For us employees. But I've grown up. I've seen like one couple. It's like he's been coming in here for over here at this bar for over 40 years. I know their kids. I know their grandkids. I've gone through, and I know there's a guy sitting at the bar that I remember when he first started coming in. His kid's been 5, 6, 7 years old, and now he's out of high school. It was like, I was like, so I've seen their families grow up and been part of it. And we've had, memorial services here for people that we've lost. And so and it's always been a big deal. I mean, a couple times we've shut down in the afternoons for just to do that or host that.
Do you feel like you're the ear for a lot of people too? Like just sit and listen, like that bartender trait. Like people are just going to come in, they just need somebody to just spill their guts and just somebody to sit there and listen. Is that kind of?
Yeah, it is. You kind of you kind of have to be sympathetic, or just,
part-time therapist, part-time bartender.
Yeah, just open your ear and kind of listen to them and give them some sympathy if needed.
There's more to the job than just slinging drinks.
Exactly. And it is. I mean, it is so much of those. Like, I've got regulars that come in and it's like this. They come in it's like they know that I'm working. Like for breakfast this morning, I dropped Sundays after 16 years. Last year I dropped Sundays, and it's like they're still a little salty.
Where the hell's Roger at?
Sundays. It's like, you need to come back on
Get
Sundays.
your ass back here.
It's like it's not the same. You need to come in and work on Sundays. Working breakfast both days. It's like it gets to be a bit.
I can only imagine.
So you were here 5 years ago when the fire Like you were actually
Yes.
working when
yeah,
the fire.
I was working. I was on Thursday morning about 9:15 to 9:30 in the morning. Yeah, I was there. I had probably 4 or 5 people at the bar, and the cook came out and said there's something. It's like, and I knew normally what happened. So I said, well, just shut the fryer down, pushed up against the wall. It's like a stainless steel, coating on the wall, and it superheated up the stainless steel, and then that ignited things back behind there. I mean, it's like I shut everything down, and it's like, and it was still. He's like, it's not cooling down. And at one point, I went back there, and it's like I could hear it crackling inside the wall, and actually the stainless steel was red hot. It was like, and I actually burnt my fingertips because I kind of touched it. It was like, and just that fast, it just sizzled my fingertips, and it's like, we got a fire going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, we need to shut things down. We need to get out of here.
They're lucky they're lucky that you were here.
So,
From the sounds of it,
So yeah, I mean, we shut things down. We called them, and I called Susie up and say, hey, sorry, but we need to get down here now. There's a fire inside the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, and luckily enough, it's like they were. Just telling you, we had the 3 trucks come, and they had it out within 15 minutes.
And
so,
not that a fire is anything anybody ever wants to experience, but it was kind of a blessing for the kitchen because you guys got to expand.
she'd already had the remodel planned and already had the equipment lined up. It was just gonna push things ahead, and actually the insurance money kind of helped pay for part of the remodel.
Nice.
So,
And you can kind of create that remodel in their vision, in the vision that you wanted.
She got the blueprints were all already set up and everything. She had all the equipment picked out that she wanted to buy. So
Making lemonade out of lemons in the biggest way possible, right there.
So it actually was like, we just had to shut down earlier than we expected.
Yeah.
So we lost out on St. Patty's Day, the Super Bowl, NCAA's. It's like, what
The money makers.
It's like, so yeah, we did miss out on all those things being shut down. But it's like me and one other bartender was like one of the only ones that she kept on. Basically kept us working full time. I was at the other 2 bars and plus helping out here. The other bartender was at the other 2 bars as well.
Something that struck me, Roger, is that a lot of the staff here have been here for a long time. What does that mean to you? Like, how is that relationship formed? And it seems like family.
It is. I mean, Melinda that's here working right now. I know you guys talked to her up at Club Hearts last summer.
Yeah.
She's been here for quite some time. It's like she's got 2 little girls. I mean, I met her when she was living here in town and was single. I actually knew her mom from her mother from here.
Yeah.
Before I started working in it, and while working here, her mom was a regular here, and I met her mom well before I even knew who Melinda was. And she started working here. It's like, it's like, geez, that's your mom. It's like, so but I've seen her, engaged, have 2 little girls, and then them start to grow up and go to school. So, it's like we've been together in Georgia. We've been together for Jesse. We've been together all for well over 10 years.
That's awesome.
The biggest moments, the biggest memories in people's lives, and like you're ingrained in that. That's what makes that special.
And it actually worked out well because when I started bartending, I always did it for friends. And it's like, since I was coming in here 3 years, I got to be friends with some of the workers, and I told Susie when she hired me, it was like I know we're just getting to know each other, but it's like I've always been friends with people I've worked for, and so I hope and it's developed into that. It's a friendship as well as a boss relationship.
Right.
So,
The multiple times, the many times I've been in here, you've been here every time, and you are what every bar, restaurant needs as far as a greeting, because I brought my parents, I bring my family, I bring buddies, and you are always super polite, super upbeat, and just like it's such a welcoming to come in here, and you are responsible for that, and it's just
I'll tell you, man, and knowledgeable too about what you're saying.
yes, it's just it's so great to come in here and to have that. Like, yes, this is just from your work, like your greeting. This is going to be a place I'm going to come back to.
Well, Raj, I mean, this is a small thing, but even today, I sat down at the bar and you asked me if I wanted to try something before I ordered my drink, which is, I think, something that is a loss. I don't get that anywhere else.
Right. I mean, this is professional.
Be able to try a beer. I asked for a beer list. You say, do you want to try anything? Like, that doesn't normally happen. They're asking, what do you want to drink? Full pours, this and that, which is fine too. But the fact that you're willing to kind of like, hey, let me show you around a little bit
This
on
is
that tap
our.
line.
We have a pretty cool tap list. Check it out.
Yeah. Speaking of the tap line, speaking of the transformation that has taken on throughout the last 22 years, craft beer, you guys are really doing a wonderful job.
How do you pull it? How do you pull it off here? How do you pull it off here?
I would say it's mostly due to Susie because I over the past 4 years, I order pretty much all the beer and liquor, but I'll do just, she basically is in tune with the craft beer.
Yeah.
So I kind of let her handle that, and she's always checking on things and trying and going to places and trying them out and checking and keeping an eye on the scene and it's like and seeing what's coming out.
It's a big local focus
like,
too.
And so basically the craft beer has all been her.
All been her.
It's like, and it's like, cause I'll do the domestics, the basic stuff.
Yeah.
But she's been. I remember right when I was working at a beer and wine distributor, it's like craft beers were just starting to come out. In fact, I mean, even back then, John's Grocery had the best probably craft beer selection in Iowa.
Absolutely. They still do probably.
And they as well, they've been known for having some of the best beer selection around in the area. So
You got fans everywhere, Roger. I'll tell you that much right now.
But
Absolutely.
she keeps here on what's going on, and it's like she's got a good relationship with a lot of the smaller beer companies and stuff.
Has your
the
clientele
reps.
changed since you guys have gone craft?
Oh
Have
yeah,
you,
we have.
Is it like a
you
younger?
guys? You guys have been stopping in. It's like adventurous. We've had people.
Yes,
coming
you guys
over
were the
from-
first ones in Iowa City to get adventures.
We were the first ones in Iowa City.
And now it's blowing up.
Yeah, it's become a destination for a lot of craft beer
we
lovers.
would have people. It was like on Untapped. It was like they would see that we'd have this beer on. We'd have people from Quad Cities where he's out of Bettendorf.
Yeah.
They would come over here. People from Cedar Rapids would come
Absolutely,
down here
you're pulling.
just to have those beers because they're keeping an eye on that now. But it is a lot more people are. I mean, well, yeah, we like Susie was telling me before we had like eight lines before, and it was like our specialty beer was we had Blue Moon on tap, and I think we had it was like an Irish ale on tap, and that was a Guinness. It was like that was
George Killian's Irish Red.
Irish Red, Irish Red. We had Killian's on. Then we went into, I can't remember, Killian's we had on for quite some
Too
time.
many beers. What is your favorite drink? What's your favorite thing to make behind the bar?
I mean, I've been known for my Bloody Marys. I mean, everyone
Marys.
always,
Oh yeah, okay.
everyone
dude.
always is like, as they come in, you have to have one of Rogers Bloody Marys.
All right.
But I mean, they're
love it.
basically almost all of us make it the same way. But it's like you have a lot of people that will say it's like
Put a little twist on it.
A little bit, yeah. It's like but that's probably the one that is like I've been known for over the years. It's like making a good bloody. So
Nice.
Oh, nice. Love it.
personally, I'm just a kind of a beer drinker. So
Okay.
You are a beer drinker.
I am a beer drinker.
What is your
so
right now?
I bounce around somewhat.
Beer choice.
Yeah,
All right.
I bounce around a bit. So I like to kind of go to-tos, but I like to try some of the newer ones
Yeah.
that we've got
Yeah.
on. So
Can't thank you enough for having us, man.
Yeah,
appreciate,
sure.
Appreciate
No,
you taking
no
the
problem.
Great to
time.
hear your story.
Yeah, no
thank
doubt.
you guys for it's like starting off with the anniversary and last year with the party for Liz up at Club Car.
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys have been a
I came in during the pandemic, and I remember walking in when you guys were doing to-go orders only, and you guys just had boxes and boxes and boxes of growlers.
We went through. You couldn't get them in the state. We had to drive to Chicago area.
Yes, I remember you
And
saying
we got
that.
picked up 90 some in Chicago.
Yeah.
We couldn't find them around here. It's like
Gone.
they were not available, so that was the quickest
People
way.
needed to drink their beer.
Yeah, the 32 and the 64 ounce growlers. We went through over 100 of them really fast. So I was like, and then Chad Young from Big Grove helped us out.
Shout out Chad Young.
Chad.
He's an okay
So,
guy. He's all right. I don't mind him. He's a decent fella.
He helped us out and hooked us up. So we're sporting some Big Grove growlers. So yeah, Danny and Chad have been great there for us.
Class act.
That's
man.
kind of cool to see that. We were talking about this off air, but like the community, the craft beer community, and how distributors, how breweries, how all the marketing side, everybody's kind of working together behind.
Yeah.
It's a competition, no doubt about it, to get your beer on the lines, to get your beer in front of people, to get your beer in glasses. But at the same time, they look out for one another, especially the establishments.
Right.
And
And
Chad's the one that actually put us in contact with Chris from Adventure.
Ventress. Yep.
See?
I remember
Like
that.
That was all due
That's
to
selfless.
Chad.
You know?
I'll never
Yeah.
forget that message. He's like, you got to go to Shakespeare's. Adventurous is on tap right now. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's check it
Danny,
out.
one of the GMs there at Big Grove, I met him. Him and his sister and one of her friends were good regulars at the club car.
Oh, really?
And I met them up at the club car, and I think at that time, it was like Danny moved out of state. I think he might have been working at Buffalo Wild Wings back then.
Oh, yeah?
He started this kind of restaurant bar career. It was like, and then he moved to Colorado and came back and we got associated with Big Grove. So, but yeah, I knew him long before he was, had come back to town, but met him well over 10 years ago at Club Car as a regular up there.
Roger, do you have any advice for getting started behind the bar? Anybody that watches this and is like,
You're right, though, because I think anybody thinks they can just jump behind the bar and
Yeah, I
be like,
don't
oh,
think
it's
it's that
I'm
easy.
a bar. No, it's not that easy.
You know,
Yeah.
when I started one of the bars I started at was a pool hall. It was like just a beer and a shot bar. It was like, you had a few draft lines and a beer and a shot. Mixed drinks, basic mixed drinks. I remember peach schnapps just came out back then. That was the Kuiper. It was like, and that was the big new.
Watch out.
The big
Watch
new
out.
drink.
all you Sex on the Beach fans,
It's like,
never would have had it.
Or Fuzzy Navel.
Fuzzy
Back
Navel,
then,
there we go.
But yeah, it's just kind of jump into it. And then the other bar that my buddies had, I worked at, was a dance club.
Wow.
The other kind of sports bar dance club.
So maybe diversifying where you're going and what you're doing, like the different kind
different-
of bars.
Yep. It was
That's
funny
cool. Get
because
some good
all
experience that
three,
way.
when Susie had all three bars, we shared all the same customers, but they all three had different vibes.
Gotcha.
So they had different best-selling beers.
Yeah.
One was a Budweiser bar, one was a Miller Lite bar, one was a Bud Light bar.
Yeah.
It was like the top sellers.
And to your point about your specialty Bloody Marys, like if you're going the different drinks that you're going to have to make at these 3 different locations or these different vibes, like that's going to bring a different crowd and that wants the peach schnapps, especially when there's new things coming out rolling on like that.
Yeah.
Being in getting your feet wet in different places, I think can be a huge value.
Yeah, and even our liquor selection has really it's gotten a lot wider.
Absolutely.
So
You seem like a mild-mannered dude, too. Like you have to have a high tolerance for probably stupidity, probably language, all of that shit, too, right? I mean,
adult daycare.
yeah, exactly.
At times
There we
like
go.
that.
There we go.
Yeah, because we don't really highlight the bad, and maybe like it's an important part of the experience too.
Yeah.
Like not every customer is going to be feeling the vibe, so to speak. You know what I mean?
And here it is a family place. The regulars pretty much will monitor everybody else.
Oh,
too.
I like that.
You a lot of times you don't even have to do anything. If there's and Susie hires. We've got a lot of women working here, and there's there's some that close, and the regulars would look out for them as they close to keep an eye on.
I love that. I love
Trouble
that.
start up.
Family.
It's like the other customers will help take care of things.
That is
I love that.
fantastic. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of times we don't have to do anything because the
Love it.
customers or regulars will take care of things. So.
Love it, man. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Roger.
no problem,
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
Always a
Roger,
pleasure.
thanks.
We're going to get in the
Pleasure
kitchen
to
pretty
meet
soon. Come visit Roger. He's awesome, man. This is Class Act,
Yeah.
dude. Shakespeare's. We're going to check the kitchen out here in a little bit. See you in a minute.